You're listening to the Bromsgrove Standard Podcast because you have impeccable taste.
Very warm welcome to this week's Bromsgrove and Droitwich Standard Podcast with me, Tristan, Harris and Claire as well. Talk through the news.
Hi there, Tristan.
Hi, well the big news in Bromsgrove straight after a bank holiday weekend is the local plan. Now, we were summoned yesterday to the council house for a press briefing, and it was basically about the local plan that's it's in its production now, so that it's the next stage they're preparing for. That's going to go before the Cabinet next week, and then on the 25th of September it will go before the full council, and then from the 30th of September that's when the next stage will start proper. And what it is it's a plan whereby Bromsgrove will be outlining between 2023, because it's going to take 5 years to do this plan, from 2023 to 2040, where it wants its homes, and it's going to build, I think it's 379 a year, so 6,443 between 2023 and 2040.
Wow.
And the plan is to be used as a planning document. So if developers come forward with sites and things, they say, oh, I want to build here. They say, well, no, it's not in the local plan. They can use that as a legal tool to get the right housing they want where they want it.
So how often do they have to do these plans?
Well, I think this is like the first one for Bromsgrove.
Oh, okay.
This is like just starting now.
So they've got a plan for the next 30 years,
basically. They've got a plan
basically.
for the next,
20 years.
15 years, because
Okay.
it's 23 to just about 17 years.
Yeah.
It is. And then what they'll do is they can outline the business properties. They want sites that are sustainable, and obviously when you build houses you want all the stuff there that people can have. So you need the road infrastructure in place, you need to make sure there's enough GP surgery space, you need school space, you need public transport links, so you want all that ideally. And what they'll be doing is they've already done a green belt review. I mean, shocking this is, and you'll hear it in the interview we're going to hear in a minute, but Bromsgrove district is 89% green belts.
Wow.
So there's only 11% built on. But it does mean, obviously, that this green belt is split into green fields and brown fields. And brown fields are obviously the ones where they've been used before, and greenfield is just fresh green field.
What do you mean by being used before?
So say if it's a site that's in the green belt but it's being built on, like there's a garden centre that's come up recently,
right.
But now they want to change that to build housing on it. So that's actually classed as brownfield site because it's already been used. It's already been. But the greenfield site, because of the sheer magnitude of Bromsgrove's green fields, they're going to have to build on that to accommodate these houses. So we had this briefing yesterday. There's going to be a call for sites on September the 30th onwards. People who have got land in Bromsgrove can put forward their plots of land and say they want to use them for
because of course some of these farmers could make a lot of money.
Yeah, they could, and like even other businesses. I've heard of other businesses in the past, like the garden centre, and there's another couple as well that aren't as viable as they were, so they want to maybe give half their land or maybe all of their land for housing. Now the council will assess each one individually and choose the most viable ones, the most sustainable for sustainable property. The other thing as well that's going on is they've done a green belt review, so they've cut the district up into 60 little pockets, and they've assessed every single one with regard to how well it's working as a green belt, because they went through what the green belt means, and it means to, it's to stop urban sprawl, and it's to stop, say, Birmingham going into Bromsgrove and towns merging and things like that. What they did say, which I haven't mentioned in the report or in the interview, is the one thing is clear at the moment is Bromsgrove don't want to be like a Redditch or a Milton Keynes, where they just redesign the whole town. They don't think that
they want to keep
They want to keep the way it is, but they just obviously want more housing, which we need. So I caught up with Councillor Adam Kent, who is the portfolio holder for planning, and here's what he had to say.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And we're here to discuss a consultation now on, explain a bit about the document to us and tell us all about it.
Right, okay. Well, probably better if I run you through the various sections that we've actually got. We've already run an issues and options consultation response, which has been going on for nearly 18 months now, I believe. And out of that, we've had 3,500 comments back from various stakeholders and whatever else in terms of the actual physical plan. And what we're about to do now is take a document forward with a plan update and further consultation, and subsequently a call for sites in September.
Now, this is to establish a local plan for the districts, for Bromsgrove districts, between now and 2040. So it's quite a length of time.
Well, a plan can take up to 5 years to produce, to be honest. We're 18 months down the line so far. And obviously what we're trying to do is make sure that we're engaging with as many people as possible and ensuring that we get the full feedback from all of those strategic partners and residents and everything else involved. And those responses help us decide what direction the actual plan takes. So it's not like we're creating policy at this stage, we're gathering information. And part and parcel of that is to see what is available, and then everything is weighted in terms of the sites that are put forward to ensure that they're sustainable and they meet the needs of the residents that might potentially be living there. So by that, you've got to make sure you've got the right local transport links, you've got to make sure you may have public transport access and all the other elements for sustainability like schools, GP surgeries and everything else as well. What we don't really want to see is putting any burden on existing settlements really, other than the capacity that they actually have.
Now, quite a surprising statistic to come out from myself anyway, is that Bromsgrove district is actually 89% green belts, not green fields. Obviously there's green field and brown field within the green belt. So 89% of it is green belt. So the long and short of it is some of the green belt will have to be built on.
Unfortunately, I think that's really quite a correct assessment. We're not like Birmingham or those areas that have a heavy industrial past or anything like that with lots of factories or other sites that can be reclaimed. Obviously, wherever possible, we'll be endeavouring to do that. That's one of the priorities that we've got. But at the end of the day, there is an acceptance that we will have to use some green belt, I believe.
So the green belt then, it's been split up into 60 parcels.
That's right.
So they've been divided up and you'll be assessing each one on, how it's been performing as green belt. Explain to us a bit about that.
Well, effectively, there's 3 different ways that you assess the green belt. It's in its strategic performance in terms of where it is. There's also, if you let me just refer to the actual document as well, and I'll give you the actual exact wording rather than give you something that's slightly incorrect. So if you just bear with me 1 second. The first part is you've got to check the unrestricted sprawl of large built-up areas. So what you don't want to do is have areas running forwards. One of the other guidelines is to prevent neighbouring towns merging into one another. So you lose the identity of the towns. And the third purpose that's relevant to Bromsgrove is to assist safeguarding the countryside from encroachment. So each of the parcels of land is measured on that. But that doesn't effectively mean that it is either suitable for development or not. At the end of the day, it's a government measurement technique used to try and establish where we should really be looking at putting housing.
And that analysis has already been done.
Yes.
But obviously it will now determine on whether you can build sustainable development on the sites best suited to it.
I mean, at this stage, obviously, it's information gathering. Nothing's actually been set in stone. Everything that we do will have to be measured. It will have to be put in a format that will meet the government guidelines, the National Planning Policy Framework, and sustainability measurements. So I think really what you will find is if sites are accepted, we've got to make sure that they are the very best and most suitable sites for housing.
And with that in mind, you're actually asking a call for sites. So anybody who's got land in Bromsgrove who thinks it could be good for development, potentially, they're being urged to get in touch with you.
Yeah, and we are expecting to get far more submissions than land we actually need. So, I mean, that process is ongoing. A lot of people have already continually submit the land in. But yes, that is a fair assumption of it. Yeah, we've got a call for sites, I think the word is.
So if anybody has got some land that they think could potentially, obviously not everybody's going to be get the outcome they want, but how should they get in contact with you?
I think the Cabinet papers will be published shortly, and then it goes to full council. At that point in time, it becomes a public document, and you can follow the relevant elements through that. It'll all be on Bromsgrove's website.
And we've already had 3,500 responses from last year's issues and options when people were asked what they thought of, what kind of housing they'd like to see, and business development and where they'd like to see it. But as you said to me earlier, it's an ever-changing document, and you would like to hear from more residents as well, community groups, parish councils, everyone.
We have to ensure that what we do fits the people that live in Bromsgrove district. That's the whole goal of this, really. And any information or any observations or suggestions or ideas or thoughts about what they would like to see, what they don't like even to a certain extent, and what they feel would benefit them. I mean, you're talking about all sorts of different, you've got from young people all the way up to pensioners, really, so, and businesses and strategic partners. So yes, we're interested in hearing from everybody.
That was Councillor Adam Kent there, telling us all about the next stage of the local plan. So watch this space, because that's going to be developing over the coming months and years, in fact. On to other news now. The big story in Droitwich, there was quite a few, I thought this had gone out, the catalytic converter thefts. I thought that was a thing of the past, but clearly not. Garages across Droitwich have been left counting the cost after a spate of catalytic converter thefts over the last week, leaving owners out of pockets by tens of thousands of pounds.
Why are people stealing these?
Well, the government have brought stuff in, legislation in, whereby you shouldn't be able to sell scrap metal unless you've got a proper licence and ID and everything's registered. But there must still be some areas out there. Talking to the officers, they say, there's not really any scrap dealers in Wychavon or not that many in Worcestershire. So they might be going to other areas like Birmingham and the Black Country. Who knows where they're getting rid of these? But what they do is they climb under the car and they slice off the catalytic converter, that part of the exhaust, and then they go and sell it on.
So sorry, I'm just such a dummy as far as cars go. So the catalytic converter is that long tube thing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's the it's to do with the emissions, isn't it? And making the
but it's a nice
safe.
big chunky bit of metal.
Big, chunky bit of metal. And what they were saying is a lot of the ones that they target are 4x4s and stuff, of course, because there's a big gap, so you can get under. If you've got a low sports car, unless you get, they're not gonna go in and jack it up, and as if they're changing a tyre and go under. They're gonna do it like to the cars that they can get under. One owner, Kush Data from the car lot Worcestershire, he's had 8 vehicles targeted over the weekend. He's put up a £500 reward for information leading to the conviction of these.
Do we know how much one catalytic? I can't even say the word.
Catalytic converter.
How much it would go for?
I think it's not in the grand scheme of things a lot of money, but I suppose if you've got a lot of them, then you'll get a fair amount. But it's nothing compared to the amount it costs for the garage to put a new one on for the person.
How annoying.
And one of the garage owners, there was the car lot Worcestershire in Droitwich. Also targeted was Droitwich Carriage Co. that had 6 vehicles done over, and Droitwich Diesel Services had 3. Now I've spoke to the owners of all the garages, and I mean they're mainly concerned about obviously the legislation not working, because if people can't sell things on, they're not going to steal things in the first place. So that's the main thing. I think one of the expressions they used was "cut off the dragon's head." If you cut off the dragon's head, then the dragon dies, doesn't it? And you slay this problem. A lot of the time they even cut either side of the catalytic converter. They cause more damage, so that has to be repaired as well. So it costs. So the owner of the car gets a new catalytic converter anyway, because the garage has to replace it. The thief gets the metal, so it really is the garage owners who are losing out here.
But I know this might be a really stupid question, but it seems like a lot of trouble to climb under a car and grab this piece of metal. I mean, why don't people steal like the bonnet of cars or something?
I don't know. Maybe it probably all depends how much metal's in it, doesn't it? Because if you think about a catalytic converter, there's probably metal inside and the inner workings of it. Maybe when it's melted down, there's more metal per centimetre than a car bonnet.
It just seems weird. If anyone knows, maybe they could get in touch with us.
I think it's probably just as well we don't know, isn't it? Because that could implicate us. We know how much metal's in every single part of the car. Would be a bit suspect for a couple of journalists to know. And they said that these people are quite brazen. You know what I mean? They're walking along. They're not really covering up. They're not really. They're not. They just seem like that. They're not going to get caught. They seem just happy to just go as if they're going on a country stroll.
So frustrating.
I spoke to Sarah Kent from Droitwich Safer Neighbourhood team because there was a complaint that the police weren't doing enough. She said the officers would be visiting the businesses to review CCTV and talk to them about upgrading the security measures. as well. It's just one of them problems. The police have always said to us that, you know, they can pretty much tell what the price of metal's doing when all of a sudden you get a lot of catalytic converters, say, stolen and stuff. It's almost like, you know, in like a stock exchange in a warped way, where people buy and sell, buy low and sell high and stuff. In this sense, if like lead prices go up, you see a lot more church roof thefts and things like that. It's almost as if the thieves are watching the markets.
I hope I haven't put any ideas out there if people start having their bonnets ripped off or something.
Well, that'll be next week's story. But anybody who knows anything about these, please get in contact with the police, 101 or Crime Stoppers 0800 555 111. And these hard-working garage owners, you know, they're out there at all hours selling, you know, making sure cars are roadworthy, doing everything, and then their livelihoods are affected like this. So hopefully that will come to an end. We've got a really sad story now. We can't say much about this, I will say, before we go into it, because it's an ongoing court case. It's not due to finish till the start of next week. It's at Droitwich Magistrates Court. A woman has denied animal cruelty charges after a number of horses were found emaciated in a barn in Stoke Prior last year. This was a big story at the time. There was some dramatic shots of and drastic shots of the horses. They were basically down to the bare bones. Defendant Annette Nally, 49, appeared at Droitwich Magistrates Court for the start of a trial yesterday. We will be following this. We've got the court case is going to run until next week, so we won't be able to bring people the verdict. But we will give you the latest, and there'll be updates on our website throughout the week. She pleaded not guilty to 4 charges of causing unnecessary suffering to horses. It comes after a dead horse was followed in Aswood Lane, was discovered in Aswood Lane barn, which Nally rented, along with 16 others in poor health, all without food or water and standing in their own feces. So it's not very nice.
I read this on the website last night, Tristan, and it made me just have tears. And they only got found because some of the horses escaped or something, which is just horrific. If those poor horses hadn't escaped and people had followed them back, they wouldn't have even discovered the others. But
we can't say too much because it's our go-to. We don't want to. You don't want to risk crossing the line with evidence and etc. So some of them were put to sleep on a local vet's recommendation. We're going to have updates on that story, and we'll probably be able to bring you the verdict next week. Now on to happier news. We've got the Droitwich Salt Fest going on next weekend. I don't know if you've got this in your entertainment roundup. It starts on Friday. It's a 3-day event. It used to be run primarily by Wychavon District Council, but it's kind of like they've taken a bit of a back seat now, and Councillor Mark Craigie and landlord of the Gardeners Arms, Simon Berry, are now running the festival. And it's going to be better than ever. It's going to be 160 stalls showcasing products and services. There's a fireworks display on the Friday evening. The Pamela May 2, we'll have to get them in at some point. That's a canal barge, which is all electric and completely environmentally friendly. And it's going to give out rides to the community. That's going to be running short canal boat trips. There's going to be Greek street food, real ale, obviously, and duck races, fishing competitions, dog shows, traditional salt making. It's going to be a big showcase of all things Droitwich, and the organisers say they want everyone from the West Midlands to come and join them in celebrating all things Droitwich. So we'll be previewing that. Also on Saturday, obviously, we've got the allotment thing that we did last week, the allotment open day. Roundhill allotments, so don't forget that. The Police and Fire open day as well in Bromsgrove is this Saturday. Saltfest is next Saturday. This is or next Friday to Sunday. This weekend we're talking now, just in case any confusion. And the Police and Fire Service, you can go and have a ride in a fire engine, try that smokehouse thing, try on police uniforms and have a go with riot shields and ask the police and fire about every aspect of their job. So that's a quite interesting thing to do. On Saturday afternoon, took the kids, they absolutely love it. There's like treasure hunts and colouring competitions and all sorts. So that's all good. And then I'm going to leave from the news section. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. Mr. T's ice cream. Did you see this?
Nope.
Well, on Saturday, because I live in Northfield, we went on a back walk around Kings Norton on Saturday evening, and then Louise was like, she knows just everything. She just follows all this social media stuff. She goes, Mr. T's coming, and I'm like, Mr. T, like the guy from the A Team, and she's like, no, not that Mr. T.
Oh, because I'm racking my brains for what was his catchphrase? I wanted to say it. No fool.
I ain't getting on no plane.
That was it.
I ain't no fool. Yeah. Not that Mr. T.
That's what I was trying to say.
That's the worst impression ever. Mr. T. Apparently, he's this ice cream genius. Well, I know he is now because I've tried one of his ice creams. And what he does is he goes around in an ice cream van, but nobody knows where he's going to turn up. So he'll rock up, and he's been in Bromsgrove before, but this is the first I've heard of him. And he was in Bourneville on Saturday night. So we went to see him. His ice creams are about £5 each, which sounds a lot, but if you think about it, you've got a standard Balti tub you'd get from a takeaway, and then you have like however many kind of the Mr. Whippy, you'd have so many like 6 Mr. Whippies in there.
Oh wow.
And then
on one ice cream
he does themed ones.
Yeah.
So he does like Ferrero Rocher we had, so there was 4 Ferrero Rochers on there, and then there was sauce fudge incorporated, and it's based, you couldn't eat one whole, so to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, £5 between 2 people, because you'd have to share it. And then the girls had this bubblegum one, which probably wasn't the best thing to give them late at night, because it had like fizzy red and blue bottles and blue sauce on it and stuff, which is obviously going to keep them awake. And this ice cream was amazing. I'm just going to get.
You're
this
looking
up on
for
my
it
phone
on your
now.
phone. We'll have to
show
put a
you
photo
these. Mr. T, King of Desserts. But when I was broadcasting my radio show on Sunday, my wife Louise mentioned it. She said, "Should we go again tonight? It's in Bromsgrove." And I'm like, "Oh God!" So I just quickly, I didn't have time to write the story, so I just shared it to the Facebook page, and then there were so many like interactions going, "Oh, we love Mr. T. When's it? Where is he? Where's he going to be?" But he doesn't reveal till like about half an hour beforehand where he's going to be. But he was by the Queen's Head in the Strand. But if you just look at, he's in Redditch as well. He was in Redditch on the 26th of August.
So what? He puts the information on his social media.
Let me just show you. That's the King Rocher tray.
Oh my goodness! If I could describe this picture, it really is 6 of those
scroll,
99 flake things,
and
then 3 big balls of chocolate, which looks like
Ferrero
nuts
Rochers
in there, and oh my God, that looks amazing.
Yeah,
that looks like it should be for about 6 people.
Oh yeah, and then we've got, this was the bubblegum one. There's just Mr. T. He's just, if he's stopping near a town near you, that was the bubblegum extravaganza.
That one looks like it would make me sick. It's bright blue and pink.
It's no wonder they didn't get to sleep on Saturday night, to be honest. But he's got all sorts, and he's got all that. Maybe you'll do an orange twirl one when that comes out.
Amazing. And so he literally just posts where he's going to be on his social media, and everyone
he just rocks
there.
up around the country, and then you do get people going, "Oh, will you come to Norfolk, please? Will you come to..." And he just goes around the country and he just rocks up. He sells his ice cream for, I think it's like a 4-hour window. He was there from like 6 o'clock till 10:30.
And what sort of guy is he? Just an average guy.
Yeah,
it's not even a special ice cream van or anything.
No, it's amazing. Next time he's here, you're going to have to try.
This is the weirdest story ever.
It is the weirdest story ever, and I couldn't believe that he was such a phenomenon. And just to show you what a phenomenon he is, he's got almost 250,000 followers on his Facebook page. That's actually a good cartoon version of him. That's what he looks like.
He looks like Superman.
He does look a bit like, well, he's a super ice cream maker, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, 225,000 followers, and people just track him, and then when he says, "I'm coming to your area," you just rock up, have a lovely ice cream, and then he heads off into the night again.
Did you not interview him when you got there?
No. I kept a low profile. To be honest, there's always queues and stuff, so you don't want to obviously stop him from his trade. He must be worth a fortune.
We need to do an exclusive on this guy. Find out who he is. The secret identity of Mr. T.
Well, you kind of know who he is. He's not like the Banksy of ice cream.
It sounds like it, though.
So there we are, Mr. T. So yeah, I would recommend the Mr. T and everything when he's coming to your area. And did I talk about orange twirls last week?
Yeah.
Oh, I did, yeah, because we still don't know when they're coming out. But hopefully, I was hoping, because obviously doing South Birmingham radio, with Bourneville being in South Birmingham, I was hoping they'd contact the show and tell me when these twirls are coming out, because everybody's everybody's waiting for
Oh,
them.
no, I don't think you mentioned it on the show.
I know.
You mentioned it to me downstairs.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like 12 is just, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best chocolate bar going. It's my favourite chocolate bar. And I quite like, the orange...
Cadbury's cream egg things.
I know the Terry's chocolate
Terry's
orange.
chocolate orange.
Yeah.
I love those.
So I love those as well. But they're bringing out an orange twirl, right? And everybody's just up for this. All you chocoholics everywhere go, oh my God, this could be the best. I put it on Twitter. I put, this could be the best chocolate bar in the whole entire history of confectionery ever. And they put, no pressure then. Cadbury's got back to me on Twitter. But apparently they've been out in Australia. And I said this on my show. I said, I don't know why.
Cadbury's is
I
British
don't
as
know
well.
why
It's not really British anymore,
I don't know why
is it?
Cadbury are bringing out
Yeah.
chocolate bars in Australia.
Maybe there was like a test market or something
This
there.
is it. I think they're just perfecting it for Bromsgrove and
ready
South
for you to meet your expectations, Tristan.
So, but hopefully we'll have details of that, and then
Should we do a live taste test?
tasting? Yeah, we could. Do you think we could? Have you got the willpower to not open it until we?
Yeah, let's do one. Let's do one on the show when it comes finally
We'll have
out.
to try and get this one from Cadbury as well. Bromsgrove, let's move on to sport now. Bromsgrove Sporting, they had a busy bank holiday weekend. I don't think they had time to eat twirls and things, or stop off at Mr T's, or maybe they did. They beat Leicester Road in the FA Cup on Saturday 2-1. Sporting scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. McDonald and Dowd popped up, and then there weren't many chances for the rest of the first half. In the second half, Leicester Road got back. Langham got a penalty, and then they thought they'd equalised, but it was ruled out for offside. Finished 2-1, so all good there on Saturday. Then, on Bank Holiday Monday, they had a local derby away to Stourbridge. Now, Stourbridge are a nice established team at this level. Bromsgrove have just come up on the back of 3 straight promotions, so, we've got to give them a bit of space and time. Bromsgrove took the lead after 11 minutes through McDonald again. Then Stourbridge scored 2 goals on the 19th and the 30th minutes, Taylor and Brown. All goals came in the first half hour, so you could have had a bottle and gone if you know what was going to happen. It finished 2-1. It was close though. Stourbridge had 10 shots on goal, 3 on target, and Bromsgrove had 7 shots on goal, but 4 on target. So it was fairly evenly matched. So I think Bromsgrove are holding their own here, but it's going to be a testing season. I'm not sure the fans should be looking towards promotion yet. But we'll watch this space. They've got Banbury this Saturday. Banbury are in 8th. They've got 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat. Sporting are in 13th with 1 win, 2 draws and 1 defeat. So get yourself down. I think it's at the Victoria Ground. 1 win, 2 draws, 1 defeat. So they've got a game in hand there. Bromsgrove are 13th at the moment, but that's pretty good because they've only just come up. I
haven't seen them play this year yet, but obviously last year Jason Crowley was always front and centre and doing. Yeah. Is it a different team?
I think whenever someone like that is going to go, you're going to have an impact. The frustrating thing about Cowley is I've been keeping an eye on him, and a lot of people I know have been watching it, and he hasn't had many minutes for Stevenage. So it just seems a shame that he's sat on the bench there when he could be firing Bromsgrove Sporting to the next level. But we can't say that because the players there that are doing a great job, they're holding their own, and hopefully we'll get a win against Banbury this Saturday. Droitwich Spa, they've been on a bit of a break. They've got Wensfield away at the Cottage Ground in Wensfield, which they share with Willenhall Town. It's a 3 p.m. kick-off, as is the Bromsgrove one. So traditional English 3 p.m. Saturday kick-offs for Bromsgrove and Droitwich. So that's a cup match for Droitwich. So we wish Droitwich and Bromsgrove well this week. Tennis next. Now, we had this great tennis guy last week, didn't we, about Cameron. He made it through to the Road to Wimbledon final. And Sajid Javid, the Chancellor, actually tweeted in midweek and he said, what did he say now? He said, congratulations, Cameron. We're 1 serve closer to having a Bromsgrove on centre court.
Amazing.
So I thought that was quite nice of the Chancellor to say that to him. Well, the teenage players from Bromsgrove Tennis Club have been in action at the 2019 Torquay Open. There's 300 top young players from all over the country. Imogen Sinclair, she won the ladies and was runner-up in the under-18s and under. Jo Hart and Josie Ward were runner-up in the 16s and under singles sections. And Finn Cook, who's their main adult main player. He was runner-up in the men's singles and doubles. There's plenty of other double success with 3 pairs making the semi-finals. There was Tom Round and Cameron Owen in the boys under 14s and under. The Josie Ward and Imogen Sinclair partnership in the 18s and under, and Harley Jones and Josie Ward in the 14s and under mixed doubles on that one. So James Griffiths and Luke Pettit, they've got the story going in this week. They said they're immensely proud of all their juniors for their efforts, and they'll learn so much from their experience. Bromsgrove Tennis Club statistically has the highest achieving young players in Herefordshire and Worcestershire.
Amazing.
So we're leading the way in the tennis, and coaching at all levels starts 4 years old. And the oldest player, Bromsgrove Tennis Club, have a guess?
85.
90.
Wow.
There you go. So everyone's welcome down there. And they've actually got an open day coming up on September the 14th from 11 till 12. Top player Finn Cook will be taking on some of the top juniors. There's free coaching for all levels and ages, 12 till 1, with a free racket for the first 8 mini tennis players. That's 4 to 8 year olds that sign up. He's called James Griffiths on 07973 666 793. That's 07973 666 793. Or Luke Pettit on 07487 710 447. 07487 710 447. Don't worry if you didn't get those numbers, of course. Stories on the website as always. And that's about it for the news and sport. Claire's next. Well, you're back now in a minute with all your entertainment roundup.
For all the things to do and see this week, it's Claire Bullivant with this week's What's On Guide.
Thanks, Tristan. Yes, I'm here to give you a few ideas of fun things to do and see this week in town. And we'll start off on Saturday, the 31st of August, with the open day and barbecue happening at Round Hill Allotments in Licky End. We had these guys on the podcast last week and they were truly lovely, really great people. And they've got big plans for Round Hill Allotments and also a nice new shiny clubhouse to hold functions and events galore in. Hopefully the weather will be lovely on Saturday. So they're planning a barbecue and there's going to be fun for the kids, etc. But I do feel like this is the start of a big event calendar of events and things they're going to have going on there. They're going to be a great group to get in touch with and get involved with. So if you are local to Licky and you like your gardening and your allotments and things, do get involved with this group. roundhillallotments.btck.co.uk for all the details, and do get yourself there on Saturday for their barbecue. Also on Saturday, it's the Bromsgrove Fire Station Open Day, 12 p.m. until 4 p.m. There's going to be police and fire vehicles on display. There's going to be a smokehouse, fire demonstrations, and loads going on. It's a free event, and it's not just fun, but also really educational. So it's great to take your kids to, and hopefully we'll see you there on Saturday between 12 and 4. Then perhaps after that, you could have a stroll over to Sanders Park as the Avon Bank Brass Band. They're going to be performing in the bandstand. Take a deck chair or a picnic, or just take a stroll around the park and listen to the lovely live music from 2:30 until 4:30 p.m. It's another fun, free thing to do on a Saturday. Then in the evening, who likes a bit of outdoor theatre? Well, if you do, you're in luck, because Private Lives will be on at Hanbury Hall and Gardens. WR9 7EA is the postcode for your sat-nav. And this is an outdoor adaptation of Noel Coward's celebrated comedy. An evening of sparkling entertainment, they promise us, nostalgic music and delicious one-liners. You can't beat a bit of Noel Coward, can you? The gates open at 6 p.m, so do try and get yourself along there. If you haven't been to one of these outdoor theatre events, try it. I promise you, try it. It could be one of your most favourite things to do. It is mine, so definitely try it. And you can't beat Hanbury Hall, can you? It's the most amazing venue. Then next week, a few fun things to look forward to. Have we any golf listeners listening to the podcast? Well, on Wednesday, the 4th of September, there is still time to join the golf day at Droitwich Golf Club for St Richard's Hospice. So it's all for a great cause. You need to be in a team of 4. It's going to be 18 holes. They'll feed you with bacon rolls and tea and coffee on arrival. There's going to be prizes and a 2-course dinner and a presentation and an auction and even a raffle, etc. afterwards. Stapleford rules, they tell me, and the best 2 scores count. So it's going to be a great day. So if you do have a couple of golfing buddies that you can all get together and make a team, do put yourself forward and please help out. This is a great cause. Richard's Hospice are an incredible organisation, and it's something lovely that you will be able to do to help out. Telephone 01905 763 963 if you want to get involved in that. Then my final picks of the week are on Thursday, the 5th of September, and it's John Bleck performing at the Artrix. This guy is amazing. Music lovers will really appreciate his beautiful fingerstyle guitar and joyous vocals, weaving a tapestry that is poignant as it is skillful. He's a true artist, so do try and get some tickets to go and see him if you do love your music. 01527 577 330 for tickets there at the Artrix. And then my final pick of the week is the Onboard the Craft Festival, starting on Thursday the 5th and running on until the 8th at Stoke Prior Sports and Country Club. This is the sistership of the Sonic Rock Solstice, featuring out-of-this-world psychedelic space rock, prog and blues bands from the UK and all over Europe. If that's your thing, do get your tickets quick because they go very quickly. And I've heard every year this just is getting bigger and better, and the tickets go quickly. So do get them quickly. 0787 342 9241 for all the details on that. Have a great week, everyone. And remember, if you have an event, do let us know so we can let everyone know. Back to you, Tristan.
Thanks, Claire. Loads going on, so make sure you get yourselves out and about, especially before the autumn and winter really sets in. And loads to do. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us about anything you would like covered on this podcast or in the paper, editor at bromsgrovestandard.co.uk or editor at droitwichstandard.co.uk. If you go to our websites, bromsgrovestandard.co.uk and droitwichstandard.co.uk, there's daily updates constantly. We give you a lovely 24/7 news coverage. We do our best. And if you want to join in the conversation, I'll tell you where it's all happening. It's happening on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So search for our pages there. We'd love to hear from you. All that's left to say is have a lovely weekend. It looks like it could be another bright one. There's loads going on, as Claire and I told you. So get yourselves out there, have fun, and we'll reconvene with you next week.